how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom's Alpha, where in today's video we are going to be going on a bit of a tour of the park and we're going to talk about my hope for the future of this game. If you like the sound of that, please do leave a like on the video. Do leave a comment down below as well if you agree with any of my thoughts or if you have thoughts of your own that you want to share. Please do that as well. Of course, subscribe for more content like this. This might be the last Prehistoric Kingdom video till beta releases, just because I don't want to burn myself out on the game. But I might come back in here and there to put in a couple more videos, just kind of in between if I'm feeling like it. But you don't have to worry, Prehistoric Kingdom content isn't going anywhere, and even though this particular series might not be continuing, there might be the odd build here and there, and when beta comes out we're back to weekly videos, so you do not have to worry about that. Now, as you can see here, this is kind of the park that we've built in the past few weeks as we just kind of explore the different mechanics that come with the game, the kind of building styles that we're going to be using, looking at all the animals, and we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? No, 6. 6 habitats. That is one big habitat over there. Here we have 6 habitats, one for each of the species, kind of, and then for some of the subspecies as well, so we're going to have to look at all of those and kind of discuss what it's been like kind of building, and I want to talk more about what I'm looking forward to in the next parts of the game when beta releases and then when early access comes out as well. Because in last week's video I did talk about what I really liked in Prehistoric Kingdom, in the alpha especially. There were lots of great things like the building mechanics I loved, the animals all look so great. But let's talk about what I'm looking forward to in the future while we go around the park. And first up, here we have this initial plaza where I just kind of wanted to see what these buildings look like, make a couple simple planters, make a very simple entrance, just all sorts of stuff to test out kind of the base mechanics of the game. And I've got to say, like, again, mechanics are all really well done. They all need quite a bit of polishing, I do have to say. They are amazing, but once they're polished, they are going to be absolutely stupendous, like through the roof, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. One thing I'm very much looking forward to as well is new mechanics for the guests. They're currently all kind of a little bit lifeless. Again, alpha, completely understandable, so in the future I think seeing more engaging guests who have different behaviors, walk in different paces maybe, children as well instead of just adults, more diverse guest body shape, more behaviors. It'll just be cool to see a more like lively set of visitors that visit our park, so that'll be quite fun. The buildings look really great. I'm looking forward to more building elements in the future with these buildings, because if I'm remembering correctly from the devlog, these are all modular by the end. And you can see here actually we have the styling and you'll be able to change that I believe in the future, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really cool. In the comments, by the way, I remember a few of you were asking me to discuss the mechanics more of the game, and it'll be a bit tricky for me to do that now as it is the end of this series, but as we start a new build, which maybe I'll do in the next couple of weeks or a bit later, I'll definitely go through things a bit more clearly as we start. But generally speaking, you'll find the mechanics will be quite similar to that of some other sandbox kind of games like Planet Zoo. Some elements are definitely a bit more similar to Jurassic World Evolution, like the hatchery system and the excavations and stuff. Speaking of which, love buildings like this hatchery building. They all look so good and so realistic, and they definitely remind me a bit more of like Jurassic World Evolution's buildings, which all have really nice kind of dedicated backstage areas that look really realistic, which I think just does so much for buildings like this, makes them stand out so much more. I think it looks really great. Like, look at this, just this little roof area. They absolutely did not have to detail it as much as they did, but because they did, it feels so much more real and so much more like alive, and I really appreciate that with all their building work. Now moving on, let's have a look at our first habitat that we built, which was this Ceratopsid habitat. Oh, my camera went nuts a little bit for a second there, don't worry, it's all back normal. And these guys are beautiful. Such gorgeous ceratopsids. Very interesting to have in this habitat here. And with this first habitat, of course, we definitely were exploring a lot. We're trying new things, trying the rock scaling, trying these new terrain brushes, adding in some basic kind of shelters and designs. And again, very much just learning about the game and kind of learning the mechanics and seeing where it's going to go from there. But these creatures are so beautiful, and this is the sort of thing I cannot wait to see in the future, because if the animals already look this good and behave so well, we haven't even seen like a fraction of what this is going to be like in the future, because we're going to see so many more behaviors. We're going to see vocalizations, new feeding, more so than even that, and like, you know, we're going to see really cool stuff. I don't even know if they have interspecific combat on their radar, but even if they do that, that'll be really cool. New species, of course, I'm very excited for. They already have so many things like really nailed down. Like, look at this right here, like the color variation between these three, even though they're just like not even that far apart. Like, these two are both females, and they have the difference in saturation and size. It looks so good, and that the ability for them to create that diversity within individual species already looks really good. I'm looking forward to more foliage as well, definitely. The foliage looks really good in the game. I think a few of them could do with a bit of like, just like a little bit of polishing, but I think they all look really, really good already. Like these logs and stuff, they're able to scale them and put them by the fence to act as a false barrier. Really, really good stuff. The trees all look great. Cannot wait for like the extra amount of trees. Well, that sounds weird, but you know, the more trees that we're gonna get, it's just gonna give us more and more options to kind of detail our habitats with. And here, just a simple shelter I built. I actually kind of gave up on building shelter for the most part, but they make it very easy for you to do. And of course, the giant rock barriers work really well and look so good. The rocks in this game, incredible. And yeah, that was our Ceratopsid habitat. I'm still very pleased with how it looks. I think it looks pretty good. And I like the different layers, I like the pond in the middle. I like how it feels like a nice introduction to the zoo, to the park, and you can just like walk up to it, look through the fence, and yeah, it all looks really good. One thing I'm very much looking forward to is them fixing the path system a bit, because if you look at this, for example, there's lots of this glitchiness when you use two different paths together, and I know they're working on it, but I'm definitely looking forward to when that is sorted so that we can blend the different parts together a bit more cleanly. Otherwise, the path system is great, and one thing I love, which I definitely see them carrying forward, is this modular pathfinding for the guests. Guests can walk on any surface that is flat, so this isn't actually like an actual path piece. This is just modular pieces we put on together, and the guests can walk over them fine, which allows for great views over habitats like we have here with the Edmontosaurus one. And I think that is such a great feature, and I can definitely see that being worked on a bit more. Right now I think it's pretty good, but it also definitely needs some work, because they definitely can walk on some far too steep surfaces. For example, if we look at the Microraptor house over here, I've seen a guest walk straight up the side pillar here, which is not ideal, definitely. Yeah, the Edmontosaurus habitat I think was another fun project to do. Now that I look at it, it's definitely a bit too small for them. I would have definitely made it a lot bigger if I had really planned ahead. But at the time, I just misinterpreted the size of the Edmontosaurus, and now they're all in a bit of a smaller habitat here. But the Edmontosaurus, I think, is a great example of how they do these vibrant skins really well. Like, if you see, let's pause it for a second and look at the quality here. The blue, the greens, the vibrancy is really good without looking unnatural. I think this looks just as natural as a large giraffe or a rhinoceros. They did a really fantastic job there. Now moving on, let's go to the next habitat we built, which I cannot remember which one it was. I think it might have been the Styracosaurus habitat, which is over here. And this is where it really started to explore with viewing areas a little bit more. So having this viewing area I think was really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing whether they have any pre-built viewing areas. I believe back when they released like a previous version of this alpha like 2 years ago, they did have like viewing areas like specifically pre-built, like viewing platforms and like tall viewing towers as well. So I'm looking forward to see if they have more of that in like the beta or the early access, because I think that would be pretty cool to have as well. And pre-built areas like that for viewing I think are quite warranted in a game like this. Maybe not so in something like, Planet Zoo, but with, when you have such big animals and animals that are probably going to have huge habitats, some pre-built things definitely do help. The Styracosaurus here is another example of something I really like with this game, and that is essentially using species technicalities almost to bring in even more diversity. So even though we have a list of like 20 dinosaurs maybe for early access. That's just a completely made up number, by the way. I have no idea how many there actually are, which I probably should, but I don't. But yeah, I don't know how many there are, but like, for example, if we did have 20 dinosaurs, thanks to the ability to have different species represented by different skins, that kind of allows us to have even more species without really filling up that roster. So like this Styracosaurus is just listed as Tyrannosaurus bataar, which is really quite interesting, and it just allows us to have more species and allows us to build more habitats. So we wouldn't have two T-Rex habitats next to each other, but we do have a T-Bataar habitat next to a T-Rex habitat, so I think it works really well like that. In this habitat as well, it was just fun to build a bit of a bigger, more open habitat and then work on some cave structures. So caves you can definitely do pretty easily in this game as well with the scaling tool, and then merge them with like canopies and stuff, and I think it works pretty well. And then building some very quick staff areas. And one of the things I'm realizing with this game that's really great is that you can build a lot of these things way faster than you might expect, thanks to like scaling tools and stuff like that. And going forward, what I would like to see as well is just more pre-built stuff. I think they do have plenty of that. It's just because I think while a lot of us are very much creative players who prefer to build things from scratch, like I do myself, I think for a lot of players as well who are coming in from games like Jurassic World Evolution or other less like detail-oriented games might prefer having a few more pre-built items as well. And I'm almost certain like those are coming as well, so I think that's not like, you know, it's definitely on the way basically. But yeah, I'm very pleased with this habitat actually, now looking back on it. It was really nice. I'm looking forward to more enrichment. I think some other enrichment would be cool. Like a crane that hangs meat over it, or like some like large balls, or like, you know, things that the predators can play with and the herbivores can also do stuff with. So looking forward to that sort of stuff. And we're going over here now to the other large herbivore paddock. So we have Lambeosaurus, another Edmontosaurus subspecies, which is Cupriensis, which I'm using kind of as a Griposaurus or Griposaurus, and I believe we have a couple of Styracosaurus in here as well. This was quite a fun build because I remember wanting to try out the ability to kind of create a big circular structure in the middle, using kind of the techniques that I've grown accustomed to in things like Planet Zoo, where you kind of create wedges and then you rotate them to create these big spaces. And I think it worked out pretty well. You've got this really nice structure in the middle here, which I'm quite proud of. I think it looks really nice. Does it make the most sense? No. For example, why are the canopies over areas the guests can't actually access? Who knows? I don't. But I think overall it looks pretty good. And using the information center in the middle to act as like a central structure I think works as well. Although there's some clippage over here. But yeah, the fact that the guests can also access it via these ramps is a great thing as well. Having the stairs and then being able to add ramps and having the guests walk over both is just really, really good fun and really nice to see. And one good thing as well is that because these side platforms aren't paths, but they are modular items, the guests can go right up to the edge and look into the habitats. So that is really cool. I'm really a big fan of this habitat as well, just because it was fun to work with lots of foliage. And once again, I'm looking forward to them adding more foliage. And one more thing I'm looking forward to is them polishing up the terrain a little bit more. I think the terrain is great as is, but one thing that could do with some polishing, and I don't know if it's even possible, is that if you use sand, for example, and actually this might not be doable. It's just actually this is a bad example because the sand looks really good here. But in some areas, when you use things like sand, there we go, stuff like this happens, and I'm not necessarily sure how it happens. And yeah, you get places like this where it clips quite hard, and I'm not necessarily sure why it does that. But yeah, polishing stuff up like that will just really help, I think, in allowing us to make more diverse terrains. But also they might simply want us to stick within the palettes that we choose. Of course, we have different palettes here. But either way, I think, all the terrain is already really, really good. So absolutely happy to see where it goes from there. But yeah, really quite a fan of this one. Let's see what those Ceratopsids are, because the Styracosaurus are some of my favorites in this game, and I don't know where they've gone. That's the other Edmontosaurus subspecies, or the Griposaurus, so to speak, in our park. And look at the textures, like, beautiful work. Again, really excited for how they're gonna update these creatures with more behaviors, you know, smooth out some locomotion, all that sort of stuff. Very excited for that. There we go, that's the Styracosaurus. I love the osteoderms, so beautiful. These are the sort of like structures and things which I think really make a dinosaur really interesting. I'm not sure how based in science these are, they might be quite speculative, but even for speculative structures, that is pretty well like thought through, because this is a reasonable, I think, structure for an animal like a Styracosaurus to have. So yeah, very pleased with that. Let's move on to the Microraptor aviary, which I have to admit was actually one of my lazier builds. These giant pillars at the side weren't really an artistic choice, they were just me not being able to take the time to figure out how to like clean up the edges, so I just put in these giant beams, but I think they look alright, honestly. And if we go in here, we can see the habitat, and I really love the Microraptor aviaries. The aviaries are so fun to work with. One thing I'm really excited for is whatever the second small animal might be, because we know that in early access we're getting 2 of these mini aviary animals, and the other one might not even be a flighted one. Who knows what it might be. I'm kind of hoping we get actually something like a bit more out there, like maybe even an amphibian, or like something really small, like I don't know, like a Leptoceratops, or like you know, some really tiny dinosaurs. And maybe even if they stick to like raptors like this, you know, like Maniraptorans, or you still have so many options. You have Styracosaurus, you have Yi-Chi. That would be Yi-Chi would be an amazing dinosaur to have in there. For those of you who don't know, that's a really bizarre small flighted dinosaur. Actually, flighted might not be the right word. They might have glided, but they had membranous wings instead of feathered ones, which is crazy. So they look like little tiny dragons. So it was really cool. But yeah, these look so good. The looped animation isn't noticeable at all. They work really well when you integrate them with the larger environment, and they also work really well as standalones. So always very pleased with using the Microraptors. And these mesh pieces, I cannot say enough good things. The fact that they scale dynamically, whew, that is good. I'm looking forward to that as well. If you guys like, if Prehistoric Kingdom developers are listening by any chance, which I don't know if they are, including more dynamically scaled pieces would be very cool, I think. I don't really know what they would be, but that sort of stuff I think looks so cool. Being able to scale and maintain that texture, really cool stuff. So, you know, that could be, who knows, something else on the books maybe. Finally, let's go over to our T-Rex habitat, and this is actually where I had a bit of an issue last episode. So, if you watched the last episode, you know we created an sort of a below ground viewing area here, with like a glass front wall. Well, I booted back up into my game, and yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but the entire front wall vanished. And I just didn't want to put it back in because it was quite a big like structure, and I was just like, huh? And it's bizarre because the thing is, I was looking back at my old video thinking I might have accidentally deleted it somehow. Also, what is this guy doing? How did he get over there? But yeah, again, consistent with what I've been saying. Looking forward to when the guests have like some smooth animations. But yeah, this was bizarre. I had no clue how this happened, and I was just perplexed. But I didn't really have the time to rebuild it, and it didn't feel like it was super necessary. I mean, obviously it would be. If the guests came down here, they would get chomped. But, you know, I just thought that was kind of funny. Again, alpha. Entirely reasonable things like this would happen. And there's a chance it might have just been me in the first place, like just accidentally deleting it. Though I don't think so, because I just can't find like any place in that last video where I might have done that. But yeah, I was really happy with this habitat. It was nice to build these big structures here for shade and stuff like that. But where are the T-Rexes themselves? Let's have a look. Where are they? Are they even in here anymore? Huh. Hello? Tyrannosaurus? I bet I'm being like really obtuse right now, aren't I? Like, I bet you guys can see him and I just cannot. I cannot spot them for the life of me. I mean, it's a big habitat. They could be in there, or they could have escaped. Can I see what dinosaurs have? Management view. There we go. Oh wait, yeah. I mean, alpha. I don't think it's all. It says 34 animals. I assume that includes the T-Rexes in here. Oh, there it is. It's in the shadow the whole time. Hello. so pretty. Oh my god. Beautiful. Cannot say, like I said before, cannot say enough good things about this game. Really excited for more unique dinosaurs as well in this next beta and the early access. Dino-Kairos is my 100% my most anticipated creature. It's just a bizarre goose, tyrannosaur, duck hybrid that kind of looks like a moose and a camel, and it's just bizarre. And when I say tyrannosaur, I don't mean it is a tyrannosaur. It's a theropod, but definitely not a tyrannosaur. It's like kind of on the same family as Gallimimus and Ornithomimus. It's an ornithomimid, but just about as bizarre as ornithomimids get. So, just absolutely such a strange animal, and I'm so excited to have it in the game. That's just it's gonna be cool, and I'm looking forward to some of the other species too. Like having some of the smaller raptors would be a lot of fun. Utahraptor, Deinonychus. I think building habitats for those would be really fun. Some other herbivores, I'm really excited for the sauropods. Those are going to be really excellent, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to kind of go on a little bit of a tour of the park. Obviously, it's not very finished. Again, this whole series was me kind of getting to grips with Prehistoric Kingdom as a whole, and just kind of learning the mechanics, getting to know the game and the animals and all that. So it's totally chill, I think, to leave it a little bit unfinished. And then in the next few weeks before beta releases, I don't know when that's going to be. It could be a month or two from now. So, I'll just maybe on every other week or every third week or something, I'll just post some, like a short build in Prehistoric Kingdom. But I don't want to burn myself out in the game, so I'm not going to do it as consistently as like every week or anything like that. So hopefully, the wait will be worth it, which I absolutely think it will be, because once beta comes out, we'll have even more to do. They've already announced some of the new animals that are going to be added, to the Torvosaurus and the mammoth, I believe. And yeah, that's another thing. We're getting the Cenozoic animals, the mammoth, the Smilodon, the Chelodonta, which is the woolly mammoth, I believe. The woolly rhino, I believe. So, so much to look forward to, especially in that regard as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see where this game goes, and I'll keep up with it as best I can. So go follow Prehistoric Kingdom on Twitter as well if you want to keep up to date, and definitely check out their devlogs, which release every month, and that really tells you a lot about how the game is progressing. With that all being said, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, it's a lot more chill than usual, no actual building, just a bit of a chat really. And I do hope you liked it anyways. If you like it, like the video if you actually like the video. That's such a weird thing to say. Anyways, do comment as well. Let me know what you thought of this whole Prehistoric Kingdom experience. Will you get it when it releases in early access? Just what do you want to see from this channel when beta and stuff releases? Do you want to see more builds? Do you want to see anything more in depth, like looking at the species? Stuff like that. Do you want to see me cover the devlogs as well? Let me know. And of course, do subscribe for more content like this. With that all being said, I want to say thank you all for watching, thanks for all your support on the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!